We are gathered here today. It's not a gathering that we are pleased with on the other side, but the other way around, it's a gathering that is equally very important. Important in the sense that recent happenings in the country leaves much to be desired. The general public were threatened. Life and properties were equally threatened. Robbery cases in the increase. The spike was attributed to a lot of factors, and some of these factors included, but not limited to, the inability of Gambia Police Force, the ineptitude, as some will put it, of Gambia Police Force to be able to effectively and adequately police this nation. We take responsibility. We don't shy away from our statutory responsibility, but we equally know all efforts are put in place to ensure crime is minimized, and the support that we are getting also from the executive, more especially in their own small way, is appreciated. I will take you through by sequence incidents of armed robbery that has been happening in this country, not only recently, but dated way back 2014, when some robbery cases were reported by the police, by the civilian, of course, to the police or the affected institutions. But today we are able to link some of these suspects to those robberies that occurred well before the advent of the new dispensation. And to start with, in 2014, Guarantee Trust Bank at Bakau was robbed, and the principal suspect in that robbery case is called one Ansumana, otherwise known as Ansu Jaju, resident of New Joshua in Serekunda. He was arrested, sent to the remand wing, and when he started appearing before the courts, he jumped bail and then disappeared in the thin air and nowhere to be seen. Again, on the 4th of September 2022, a case of robbery was reported which happened around Senegambia area. The owner of the business, the proprietor, gave some money, a lot of money, to this same suspect, Ansumana Jaju, otherwise known as Ansu, to go and pay some of his workers. He left with this money, abandoned the car, where some items were recovered, including his own national identity card. This time around also, he was able to evade arrest and also move to a nearby country where intermittently he will appear briefly in the Gambia, conduct his operations with his accomplices, and then go back to that same location or destination. Most of the time, Ansu built up friendship with one Leseni Jabate, Ivorian national. They were all remanded at Mile 2 Central Prisons, and this was where they built up relationship. And subsequent to their disappearance, their escape, they teamed up together and they started conducting their operations. On the 29th June 2021, this same Ansu, whose boss was called Momar Tal, operating as Eman Trading, he robbed these business premises and equally got successful and vanished again into thin air. On the 1st of January, New Year's Day, store breaking and stealing. This was reported by one Ahmed Said Mohammed, a 32-year Mauritanian national, a businessman residing in Old Joswang, operating as Gum Food Complex at Denton Bridge, where he kept his goods and money. The same people went there, tied up the watchman, the night watchman, forcefully opened the back door, and then opened the safe where monies were kept. The undermentioned suspects shared the money, which totals to $400,000. Ansu Mana, Ansu Jaju, Leseni Jabate, and Abdoulaye Diallo. The booty was $400,000. Each got $100,000 as their share, and the balance of $100,000 was kept and later utilized to procure arms and ammunition from a sister republic, which they later started using as means of their weapon to conduct these nefarious activities. Wednesday, 22nd January 2025. I'm sure by now everybody here in this hall will agree with me that we have all seen the CCTV footages of the alleged robbery which was conducted at Access Bank in Bijilo. 3 of them, driven by a taxi driver, went to the bank, as I mentioned during my appearance at GRTS on that fateful day, conducted their operations using these same weapons that they were able to procure. The suspects are no other person but the same Ansumana Ansu Jaju, Loseni Jabate, Abdoulaye Diallo, and one Omar Seka. This time also, they jointly shared the money, and each of them was able to get $400,000. After that robbery, considering themselves as successful, now they become emboldened, and in a rare and brazen attack, they strategized and also went to attack a Mauritanian shop operated by Al Hela Enterprise, located along Hagan Street in Banjul. But prior to this operation, they jointly contributed money and bought a BMW ash column, which they used in that operation. Here, I want to state that by the time of their operations, the vehicle was unnumbered. But when we check in the system with the company that are responsible for printing number plates, we realized that actually the vehicle was numbered, it was registered, and the number plate was legally given to them. But as we all know how criminals and criminal elements operate, they remove this, conduct their operations, and instantly fixed the number plate again. The cost of that BMW was $150,000. At the El Hela shop, $1,245,000 was taken, and then CFA denominations, 1,650,000. That was the money they got from the operations at Al Hela. Again, the suspects, Leseni Jabate, Abdoulaye Diallo. Jabate's share was $377,250,000 with 465,000 CFA. Mr. Diallo Abdoulaye got $222,000, 770,000 CFA. That operation, initially, they tried to trick investigators by saying, actually, there were 3 in number. On the whole, it was only the 2 of them. But as investigations expanded, we were able to confirm with certainty, and which was also confessed by themselves, that actually it was the 2 of them only. Now, coming back to Mr. Jaju Ansu, after the operations at Access Bank, he fled to Guinea-Bissau. Investigators from the Crime Management Pillar, jointly with our colleagues, elements of the anti-crime unit, were able to re-strategize, see the best possible way to be able to track these people. By way of investigations, I cannot delve deep into matters or areas or intelligence that were done for us to be able to track him all the way to Bissau. In security, there is what we call NTK, otherwise known as Need to Know. With due respect to my media colleagues, I don't want to go too much into that, and I believe I will get your understanding on this. Now, moving forward. When our colleagues will get to Guinea-Bissau, we link them with the authorities there. And somebody who is very close to him was apprehended, who was shown these CCTV footages, where instantly he confirmed to them, yes, this is the man, I know him, he is called Mr. Ansumana Jaju. Investigations did not relent. With the support and collaboration of our Bissau colleagues, the next day, we were able to locate him, and he was subsequently arrested. When he was arrested initially, as hardened criminals we all know them to be, he tried to be stubborn, he tried to be recalcitrant, he never wanted to own up to his crime. But then when questioning were intense, we started cracking holes, gaps started emerging, and then he subsequently agreed and confessed to the crimes that was committed. And personally here, I want to thank His Excellency, the Ambassador of Guinea-Bissau to the Gambia, Mr. Luis. I want to thank my Bissau counterpart, the Inspector General of Police. And I equally want to thank Dr. Domingos, who is in charge of the Judiciary Police, where Interpol falls under. They did a phenomenal job for us by cooperating with us, and eventually Ansu was extradited, escorted by the 4 officers from anti-crime to the Gambia. Now, as fate will have it, on this same day, when Anshu was being transported from Bissau, there was a sting operation that we conducted in Banjul the very day the El Hela incident happened. Gambia police officers were able, with reinforcement from our various units and with intelligence-led gathering or intelligence-led policing, we were able to flag and see a BMW who looks very similar to the one that was used during the operations, but this time around with a number plate. Now, surveillance was mounted. Then there was ambush at various locations in and outside Banjul, which led to the arrest of a driver, a mechanic, and later Mr. Luseni Jabate. The following day was when we were successful in getting Mr. Abdoulaye Jallo, and when all of them were shown the CCTV footages at Access Bank, they immediately accepted that that same robbery was equally conducted by them. In fact, Anshu was the one with a white shirt. All right, before I forgot, the shirts, the dress they wore during the Access Bank operation, we were able to retrieve those same dresses at his residence in Guinea-Bissau, which is also with us here, and certainly prosecutors will use it as an evidence. For Mr. Jabate Luseni, he categorically told us that he was the one who wore the white kaftan during that operation. Abdoulaye was the one wearing the jogging when they were operationalizing that act at Access Bank. Investigators did not relent. They want to dig in further to ensure all the perpetrators of this heinous act are brought to book. When they mention and confess to the participation of a taxi driver, we were on his trail. By dint of luck and hard work, he was equally arrested yesterday and is safe in our custody. String of successes. There was a robbery case that was also reported at Farato. I'm sad to say this because the person's name is Usainu Ture and you all know I'm Ture. This is the guy who operated that shop and carted away a lot of expensive goods. When we get wind of his appearance elsewhere around this neighborhood, officers were on his trail, and eventually he was also arrested. And when the CCTV footages were shown to him, he admitted guilt and accepted that he solely and entirely operated that operation alone. Mr. Ture is equally with us here, and I think moving from here, this is where my updates will stop. But let me make one emphasis. We have been saying this time without number, but then it's like adherence to this, I will not call it an appeal, but directives which is supported by our existing laws, but people are not abiding by it. Perhaps I will accept the enforcement aspect of it from us, the Gambia Police Force. It's a little bit lacking. But from here today, Wednesday, the 12th of January, any driver, any commuter who wants to enjoy the comfort of your vehicle without discomforting innocent children that are supposed to be transported to and from school, please make sure you have your number plates fixed on your cars or your vehicles. Failure to do this, the car will be impounded and there will be heavy fine on the spot before you can get back your vehicle. This is now not a warning. It's now not an appeal, rather, but it's a warning. And our expectations as policing elements of this country is to be supported by all and sundry. More especially, members of the security fraternity. Because usually, we are the very ones, on this particular matter that I'm talking here, we are the very ones who abuse this. You have your number fixed in front of the car, but at the rear, you deliberately remove it with a simple pretext or excuse to say it's damaged or broken. This will not be accepted any longer, and stern instructions have been given to officers of the mobile traffic unit to ensure these directives from the Inspector General of Police is implemented to the letter. There is no good thing that somebody does, or there is no person who will be walking and not be committing mistakes, even though we agree mistakes are inevitable, but nobody wants to be committing mistakes in the due execution of your duties. I am saying this simply because it's not an offense, and we are not picking any offense in it. But since the spike of these robbery cases, Gambia Police Force has been maligned, we have been ridiculed, we have been sent to tatters, and all sorts of things were said on us. We accept this in good faith, and we are not apportioning blame on anybody, because that's what we signed for. If we know we are unable to protect the life and properties of this nation, let me be on record. I, Sidi Mukhtar Toure, will be the first person to tender my resignation to the executive to say I have failed in my duties and I am relieving myself of my responsibility. Even though we don't pray for this. But then also, if certain issues or incidents happen, I think police needs to be given time. We need to be supported in terms of information gathering. We need to be supported in terms of logistics, which is coming, though not adequate, we must accept. And I think, we should all see the best possible way. The first robbery case that I mentioned here actually happened which year? 2014, right? 2014. That was way before 2016, 2017. And some of us who are the elderly ones now, advanced age, I will say, we have seen during the previous dispensation, the previous regime, the Central Bank of the Gambia, perhaps you the younger ones may not be able to remember this, but the Central Bank was also attacked by armed men. And this was during the time of former President Yahya Jammeh. Now let's check and consider the proximity of Central Bank and the State House of the Gambia. If you start walking, you will know for 5 minutes you are at the State House. And now we are forgetting all that. Every blame, every ridicule, every malignment, every antagonization is on us. But once again, we want to thank you for your support. And we encourage the general public to be sharing information with us. There is one particular case that I forgot to mention. If you can recall, on this fateful day of 22nd January, immediately after the Access Bank incident, it was reported that there was also an armed robbery at Kunkuyan Ketaya. Can you remember this? Very well. And an amount of 77,000 plus was what they took away from the guy operating the financial institution. That's the Western Union, or any name you may wish to call it. What our investigation revealed, with evidences, concrete evidences for that matter, he claimed that it was 3 men The same description with Ansu, Loseni, and Mr. Jaro, that it was the same people with the same vehicle that attacked him at his motor shop. We were able to confirm this with certainty that this was staged. It's a matter of seeing the Access Bank robbery in the internet. Somebody also decided to take chance, capitalize on it, and stage this by himself. Today, he is even appealing to the police that he wants to pay this money so that no further action will be taken. Well, what I can say, I'm very sorry for him. We would not do this because that even aggravated the same problem that we were faced with after the Access Bank incident. Once again, we appreciate your appearance, calling you on a very short notice. I believe majority of the media houses are here present. When you go back to your principals, extend our gratitude to them for responding to our call within this short period of time. I appreciate your kind attention. Long live the Gambia. Thank you very much.